One, two, three. Welcome everybody today to Mom and Dad Talks, where our favorite two people are Mom and Dad, and Mom is somewhere. We don't know where she's at. However, we have a very special guest, George Brooks of the Meta Association. It's a nonprofit that makes a difference in the community and stuff. And dude, I don't even know where to begin because you have a remarkable story. But I want to talk a little bit about your remarkable story because we're going to bring you back again because there's more to you than meets the eye. Hopefully when your book comes out, we can even dive even more into that. But tell us a little bit about you and your organization, and then we're going to talk about what you're doing now. So, George, take it from here.
All right. Well, about age 7, I began to become aware of some mental health issues that I was having even at that younger age. And I'm originally from Memphis, Tennessee. I currently live in Dallas, but I'm in Memphis doing community work back and forth, but I'll get into that. So my life, pretty much from childhood to adolescence, was plagued with mental health issues, chronic health issues, diabetes, heart failure, things like that. And one thing that I learned growing up was that we don't, even at a young age, we don't pay enough attention to mental health, especially Black mental health, and even less Black male mental health. So my growing up was difficult. My diagnosis of bipolar and DID and PTSD. And back then, I'm 44 now. This was about 9.
Wow.
Didn't diagnose people that end with that condition. So I had to grow up into early adulthood, kind of not really having a good grasp of my care, but being aware of it. So about age 25, I was officially diagnosed as bipolar. Had various challenges in life, went through poverty. When I was younger, I had a food addiction. I had weight loss surgery, went through traumatic divorce, custody battles, went through about a 8-year addiction to cocaine. And during that time, my mental health really faltered and my physical health really faltered, and I separated from my wife. And at that point, I was really at my lowest. I had been on disability. I lost value in myself. I lost track of who I was. And at that point, I had yet to discover my faith. So my fiance, we were friends at the time, but she kind of came along and was helping me in terms of building an infrastructure for myself where I could build myself up. So about 4.5 years ago, I moved from Memphis to Dallas. I started Meta Association, 5 years sober next month, and continue my education, working as a film producer. I've got a couple film projects in the works. I'm on the couple committees with the South Dallas Employment Project. I've taught a course on job training for recidivism. I've kind of done a lot just because of my desire to help people. And 2022 was a challenging year for me. I had 3 kids graduated high school. Yeah, all at one time, 3 teenagers in the house, and now we're empty nesters. And I've been in Memphis for about the past 5 months, working on some things activist-wise. And I'm really committed to improving not just the lives of those that are living with mental illness or disability, not only the lives of Blacks or Black males, but all people through my work in both Dallas and Memphis. And it's interesting right now, being in Memphis, we have a case, and I won't go too much into specifics because it's all public record so far, of a young man that passed away, unfortunately, after being in police custody. And as of today, they are the Memphis Police Department is wrapping up their investigation, and they plan to release whatever footage they have of the incident. And people here are tenuous because Memphis's mentality is different than a lot of places. And what I want to do is to make sure that even though there may be some civil unrest, that it remains lawful, as lawful as possible, safe, where people can protest and express themselves in a way that does not lead to the detriment of the community. Also, I don't want this young man's passing to be overshadowed by foolishness.
Yeah.
I feel as though right now what I'm trying to do is network with other people in the community, other organizations, the mayor's office, different politicians, to try to work towards solutions and things that will help make Memphis' situation better. And maybe Memphis can one day become a model city where whatever programs and protocols we institute can be reciprocated. Can be transposed to other cities to help them. So that's really my goal. I'll be traveling between Memphis and Dallas. Luckily, it's only about a 500-mile trip, but to try to
500
do both to
miles.
help, yeah, 500 miles to help both cities out.
Wow.
And one thing about about the case is that Memphis is a very racially charged city.
Yeah.
And I know that anytime you have the police and a black male involved, it automatically goes to it being a racial incident. And I'm not saying that it's not. I'm not saying that it is. I was not there. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But what we really have to do in terms of addressing issues, and this is also worldwide with people of color, is that we can't always say what's in a person's heart. So we don't always know if they're acting out of any prejudice or bias. But yet there are protocols and things that we can do administratively to make sure that the interaction between law enforcement and the citizenry is safe and conducive to public safety. Mm-hmm. So that's really why I'm doing a lot of the work that I'm doing here right now.
First of all, we want to thank you for taking the time out, even to come on Mom and Dad Talks, but also thank you for bringing communities together to better this country. I mean, I think that's what people miss out on is you have thinkers out there that want to better things, not keep them the way they are, because if we keep them the way they are, we get what we get.
Right. We regress, actually. It actually gets worse.
Yeah.
Especially in today's society where you have the advent of social media, so nothing is really hidden. It can lead to a sense of paranoia. It can lead to a sense of divisiveness. Mm-hmm. So actually, we have to be more careful nowadays what we do and what we say and how we approach people in certain situations than we did, say, 20 years ago.
Yes. I mean, really, it used to be you could post and go. Now you got all these rules and regulations and stuff. Right. You even got laws that officers are trying to get where you can't film them doing stuff.
Right.
And I'm thinking, well, if I'm doing something right, what's wrong? Exactly. I understand what they're talking about. Well, you can mess up an investigation, but you may look. When someone does a crime, they check other people's surveillance equipment to see what's going on. I mean, I know there's a catch-22. We want to work with everybody. However, I always believe you should live your life like an open book, because if you're doing something wrong, you're always going to try to hide.
Right. And the key word in all this is transparency.
Yeah.
We need transparency between our government officials, between our law enforcement and the citizenry, especially those that are affected with mental illness or disabilities, which is a particular group I advocate for. Mm-hmm. And not only is transparency important in terms of your civic existence, it's also important in your personal life.
Yes.
So if you learn to practice transparency, that doesn't mean overshare. That doesn't mean say too much, but be transparent in what you do and in your actions and in your protocols. It benefits everyone. So that's something in Memphis that we need to work toward. I'm a lifelong Memphian. I've my 44 years, 40 of them was in Memphis. I'm from straight out of South Memphis, Parkway and Lauderdale. If you're from Memphis, you know what that means. So I'm deep in this city. Mm-hmm. And I'm willing to give my time, my heart, my commitment to this city and to Dallas to hope, have some impact. Yeah. Even if I only help one person, then I'm good. But I want to try to help as many people as possible.
Well, we're coming up up to the minute here. We're gonna bring you back because, like I said, and hope we can do some more stuff with you there. Dad, you have any questions for Mr. Brooks?
No. Not only does that happen in the big city of Memphis, it happens in small towns also. Not too long ago, we had an incident of a person of color that had a mental breakdown. He was naked and he was screaming, and the police shot him.
Yeah. In effect, that brings up a point that I'm going to address. Many municipalities, their law enforcement has certain mandates to where if they don't see a mentally ill person or a person in distress in an active state of distress, basically tearing everything up, they can't do anything. And one thing I want to articulate to people as a person living with a mental illness, raising a mentally ill child, being involved in this community and having lived the life I lived, is that a crisis is not always so apparent. Someone could be sitting quietly, but have a utter storm going on the inside and be in crisis. So we need to have better training for people to recognize those things, to deal with those things. And hopefully in the end, we can create a better world for someone.
Mm-hmm. And like I said, you're doing a great service. I like the fact that you're bringing something that affects all of us. And the thing about it is that, folk, the video doesn't lie. Sorry. You see things, and two people have two different viewpoints of the same video. You see with Rodney King, everybody saw a man get beat down unnecessarily. However, a certain group of people looked at it as he deserved what he got. It's a lesson for him.
Right.
But yet, when you're trying to adopt or do foster care, you can't beat a child like that.
No.
Without going to jail. So you know what I'm saying? I mean, just to restrain them enough to conduct them, you don't have to go overdo it. Right.
Right. And it's a matter of, if you tell two people the same story, and ask them what happened, you'll hear 5 different versions. So we can't, unfortunately, we can't necessarily make someone who sees things a certain way see our point of view, but we can put things in place to where it does not happen across the board.
Yeah.
And one thing I do want to say, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know, until they release the video, none of us know. We can all speculate, but it's just my prayer and hopes that people in my hometown of Memphis, which I love dearly, try to keep things peaceful, lawful, and not let the message, or not let this young man's passing be lost because of a few bad apples.
Yeah.
So that's one thing, because, once we do that, we lose the narrative.
Yeah.
And once you lose the narrative, then people can stop listening. And that doesn't, lend itself to collaboration or working together. So that's all I want to say on that regard. I just want people to be safe. I want people to express their right and work toward change in a way that's going to be beneficial to all people through collaboration and in ways that are lawful and ethical.
Well, you know what, folks? We're going to bring George back on. Hopefully, when we bring him back on, things in Memphis went, how do I say it? Go well.
Go well, yeah.
That's what we're rooting for. We're waiting that everything go well and things get worked out, right? That's the whole idea. Nobody dig into a corner. Let's have a working relationship to make things better, not digging in and finger pointing. With that in mind, folks, this is a great one. We're going to welcome everybody again to Mom and Dad Talks next time. Till next time, we're going to tune in. And like I said, George, Mr. Brooks, thank you so much for the Med Association, nonprofit, working from Dallas to Memphis, coming on Mom and Dad Talks today. And we'll see you next time on Mom and Dad Talks.